Now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, now we got audio. Now we fuck.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we back. Well, the good thing is that the audio is going to be recorded for the podcast, so y'all can listen to it on the podcast. Just to recap real quick though, we'll go back over these games real fast since nobody could fucking hear us. So I apologize for that. Um, Louisville versus Florida State. Louisville plus 2.5 at home. Florida State minus 2.5. Ervin and I both agree we like Louisville in that game. I think as a home dog, I think I in this spot, I just think it's smart backing Louisville. Florida State has lost four straight road openers under Mike Norvell, and Louisville is 5-1 against the spread in the last 6 games against Florida State. Plus,
Yeah,
this game is at home, so I think that plays a lot of significance in college football, home field advantage, right? And
it
Louisville is coming
does.
off a big win against UCF, which is kind of detrimental to the handicap because you don't usually like the back teams coming off big wins like that. However, this is at home, so I think it is kind of a good spot for them. So I like Louisville. Ervin also likes Louisville. The second game we discussed was Oklahoma and Nebraska. Obviously, Nebraska is, or I'm sorry, we did yeah, we did Oklahoma,
Oklahoma
Nebraska.
Runners. Mm-hmm.
Um, Obviously Nebraska firing Scott Frost. This game is at 11 right now. You can find it 11 and a half at some books. Oklahoma's on the road heading into Nebraska, and I was discussing that I love taking teams with new coaches because teams with new coaches often flourish the first game because they get fired up. They want to. They just. It's just this like emotion. I mean, we've all been there, right? We've all. You want to get fired up for your new coach, dude. You want to back him. You want
Yeah,
to.
I think Nebraska is gonna be rocking. They're gonna be infused because you know even when we fired Clay Helton last year, it didn't help the fan base a lot, but everybody was a lot more optimistic about the future and how the season's gonna go. And they could have, and the assistant coach could galvanize the team and win a couple games in a row. So you never know what can happen.
True. That's So that's gonna be huge. I like that game. I actually think Nebraska is best bet material. But let's hop into this other. Let's hop into the next game. We have BYU heading into Oregon. BYU obviously coming off a massive win at home against Baylor, which both of us we liked Baylor. Baylor covers. They win outright. They were 3.5 point or 3 point favorites, and they covered. And they were missing both their starting wide receivers, which was pretty impressive that they were able to come off that with a W. Hall looked fucking great too.
Yeah,
If you guys didn't watch that game, Hall looked fucking excellent. Quarterback for BYU. Right now, BYU plus 3.5 point dogs on the road. Right now, the total's at 58. The total's been bet up from 49.5. And it's also the totals or the opener, it opened plus 6.5 has been bet down to 3.5. So a lot of money coming in on BYU for obvious reasons.
yep.
Right now, BYU is getting 80% of the bets, 72% of the money. What's your thoughts on this game before I get into my review?
I think BYU kind of getting their two best playmakers back on the outside is going to pay even more dividends. Honestly, I was surprised they scored that many points against Baylor. Now, clearly Baylor still has a good defense, but they're not the same defense they was last year. But that takes nothing away from BYU. They have a legit quarterback. They got a legit offensive lineman. They got watching that game. They have at least three linemen I think going to be playing on Sundays. The left tackle, the right tackle, and the left guard all
They
look like NFL
those
guys.
big Mormons, dude.
Yeah, Kingsley
He said,
Suamatsu, that
"Yeah."
dude's he gonna be a monster. I think that got potential to be a top 10 pick. Um, Hall is the real deal. I like what BYU brings to the table. Sataki is starting to open it up more. He trusts the QB more. They still got they still believe in running the ball, setting the tone with the run game. And Oregon has to prove they can stop them because Oregon is gonna have to stop the run first, and then they're gonna have to deal with those receivers. But Hall, he's shown he could pick you apart with his legs or his arms. So You gotta watch out for both with him. Now everybody knows I'm down on Oregon. They good. Who wouldn't look good against Eastern Washington coming off a 49-3 blowout to the defending national champions? But they got to show me something, man. Until they do, uh, I love BYU. That's probably my best bet of the weekend. Them +3. I think they could definitely cover and win that game by more than 3 points. Bo Nix is still Oregon's quarterback, so good luck with that. And if Oregon, I said pack them up after the Georgia loss, but if they lose this game, you really got to pack them up.
Yeah, I'm not gonna put much into the analytical data only because
Mhm.
Oregon's is very skewed from that Georgia win.
Yeah,
Um, I don't think that I don't think that whatchamacallit, I don't think that BYU's defense is remotely near Georgia's defense.
Georgia's no, not at all, not even close.
Baylor or BYU. However, I do think Oregon's defense is better than Baylor. Plus, they're going to be at home.
They are better than them on tape, but if you watch them tackling versus Georgia, it looked horrible.
It did look horrible, but Irv, you got to keep in mind that they're at home. All right, this is
I
they
get
can
it. They
they
don't
win
they got
this
like a
game and it changes their season. It makes that Georgia loss. Obviously, you're gonna look back at it and be like, "Wow, that loss sucks," but it still makes it better. Like
yeah.
it's
I'm
not
not saying they can't win this game, but
they're 20-0. They're 20-0 in their last 20 games at home.
yeah, Sataki is good at game plan, especially against QBs, because he made. That's when we started doubting Slovis as a draft pick because even though Slovis was a freshman, he didn't look nowhere near the player he did
But they
when he
won that
played.
game at home, and they
I
won the
know, I
Baylor
get
game
it,
at home.
I get it. You want to give George, you want to hold out some hope for Oregon, but honestly, I don't think it's gonna be a blowout, but I think BYU wins this game the way the way they beat Baylor. And plus, we got to factor in them getting their two best wideouts back.
Yeah, I like Oregon here. I think it's as I know it's only 3.5. If this got up to 4, like I wish I got this at 4, 6.5. I would have taken Baylor.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly don't even like it at 3.5, but I would lean Oregon -3.5 because they're at home. This game is played neutral field, or if it's played at BYU, we're talking a whole different level of handicap here.
Yeah,
But
I
because they're
feel
at
it.
home, dude, they don't lose at home.
I believe in my boy Hall. I'm riding with my boy Hall.
I mean, I respect it. I just I hope you're not on the wrong side, man.
Well, don't worry,
And
that's gonna be
and
one of my
BYU
best
right
bets.
now, both Puka Nakua and Gunnar Romney are both questionable. So there is no guarantee that either one of them are going to play on Saturday. They're both
Well,
questionable right now.
looking at the report you saw on on one of the podcasts I listened to, Cover Three, they said they expect both of them to play this weekend.
I mean, hopefully for their sake, because I mean they
Yeah,
didn't
if
look
those two don't
terrible,
play,
but
then I think Oregon should win. Then I'll be even more shocked if they don't. If they two best wideouts don't play and Oregon still loses. But only reason nobody thought BYU was going to be Baylor at home either, especially without those two.
nah, we did
Yeah, I did.
because BYU is a tough place to play. Dion just commented Justin Flo versus Jaron Hall in open space matchup. Fire.
Yeah, that definitely can.
This
But
is a redemption game for Oregon's defense too, especially with how they played against Georgia. And this is going to be on national TV, so a lot of people are going to be tuning into this one. I think Oregon got to show up. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
if they
this
don't
is a
show
big
up
game
this
for
week,
them.
then it's well, like I told you, pack them up.
Yeah, it's curtains if they don't do it this week.
Because all the teams that we thought was going to be ass in the Pac-12 North actually look like decent teams. So it's no guarantee they're going to beat everybody in the Pac-12 North. So
Who
if
did
they
we
lose
think was
this
going to be
game,
ass?
huh?
Who did we think was going to be ass?
Washington State, too many unknowns. We knew Washington offense was going to be better. We didn't know about their defense.
Yeah, Oregon State
Oregon,
looks
we was
good.
yeah, Oregon State, we was up in the air on them because they lost a lot of talent. They look good. They got a pretty big win against Fresno State. I picked them to lose that game. Uh,
You
or
did.
in the in the off season. I didn't bet it last week. I think I bet the over. I think the best thing I said was the over. Um. So yeah, we're gonna see. Oregon definitely looks like they and Stanford looks better than last year on offense, but that defense is probably not gonna be able to stop people. They're gonna have to win shootouts.
Arizona Diamondbacks just walk off with a 3-run home run off of Craig Kimbrell by Sergio Alcantara.
Uh, gotta love Craig Kimball. We traded for a white Kenley Jansen. You gotta love it.
Dude, they're not. Hey, to be honest, Kimbrell's better than Jansen, bro.
I know he is, but that's what Dodger fans about to start calling him the white Kenley Jansen.
Oh, I don't blame y'all for being upset. But dude, Jansen is like he might be the one piece of why the Braves don't win the World Series again, dude. I'm not even joking when I say
Oh
that too.
man.
Oh god, I love baseball, dude. We're right here close to World Series or I mean to playoffs, so I'm excited. But let's move into this next game where we're gonna talk Mississippi State at LSU. Um this is another interesting game here. Mississippi State, they look good against Arizona. And
They
I
did.
know most people are going to say, well, yeah, it was Arizona. But Arizona,
Is much improved.
yeah, they're much improved. And they beat the dog shit out of San Diego State.
Yeah.
At San Diego State, too.
And when you look back at that game, it shouldn't have been 38-20. It should have been 38-13.
Yeah. So I thought that was a big win for Mississippi State. I did think Mississippi State was going to be much more improved this year. So did you. We both thought they were going to be better. Um, they're averaging 6.1 yards per play, only giving up 4.8 yards per play.
Yeah,
So
they defense look way better than last year.
yeah, their defense has been looking nice. So right now, Mississippi State -2.5 on the road, LSU +2.5. This has been an interesting game for me because this game actually opened up -3, and then it got bet down to 2, got bet back up to 3. Now we're seeing it back to 2 again. Open 3.5 +2. Also, it's flip flopped. So I'm sorry. So open +3.5 Mississippi State has flip flopped to -2. LSU is at home, but I think we have legitimate concerns about LSU.
Yeah.
I think we both agree with that. And this is a big game for Mississippi State. Big game here. What do you think about this game?
I think if Mississippi State plays like they did against Arizona, even though LSU might have a little better talent on the outside as far as wide receivers, I still think Mississippi State can win this game handily because LSU's defense, especially losing Mason Smith for the whole year. I don't know if that edge rusher is going to be able to play because they said that targeting was pretty bad. He was looking if they oh no way if they just suspended him, it would have been for last year's game.
Yeah.
So
No,
he's
he
probably
didn't play last game.
okay. So he's probably definitely going to come back this game. So yeah, I'm not really feeling LSU. The offense is not moving the ball like that. Jaden Daniels looked terrible throwing the ball from the pocket outside of that last drive, or the last two drives to get him back in the game. So if he plays like he did the first half against Mississippi State, the way he did against Florida State,
Yeah.
then that game could be 21-7, 21-3 pretty fast because Mississippi State can throw and they can run the ball, and their defense is getting after the QB. They forced Jaden Delore to throw what 2 or 3 interceptions,
Yep.
and they
Nah,
had him looking like Shane Falco from the replacement. So it was so they could easily make Jada Daniels look the same way. So it's gonna be interesting. I really think Mississippi goes into Death Valley and gets a big win. I'm not gonna say they blow them out, but I think they win at least by a touchdown or 10 points.
So right now, Mississippi State's getting 49% of the bets, but 57% of the money. LSU 51% of bets, 43% of money. This is a game that I've already bet. I bet Mississippi State -2 when it got down to 2. I like Mississippi State here. I do think that this is a big program changing type game for them, and I think they are going to get it done, and they will, put themselves into the SEC conversation this year because as we saw with Alabama versus Texas, this is a lot more open. This conference in college football playoff is a lot more open than we anticipated. And I'm not saying Mississippi State's gonna beat Alabama by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just saying that LSU is not on the same level as Mississippi State, in my opinion. I think that this
Yeah,
team
and
is
then
much
even
better.
and I don't and Texas A&M don't look as good as Mississippi State either. So we'll
Oh,
see.
no, dude, we don't. We already got into Texas A&M the other day. That not good, dude. Not good. All right, let's talk about the next game. We got another interconference matchup. This is going to be Michigan State. They're heading into Seattle to face the Washington Huskies.
Well, this is
Hold on.
East.
Let me get the line real quick. Let me get the line. It's like one of the last games. So we got Michigan State. They're plus 3.5. They opened minus 3.5. This has been bet to plus 3.5 on the road in Washington. The over under right now is 56.5. What's your thoughts on this game?
This
No rain projected either, by the
Yeah,
way.
this is both teams' first real test of the season. Michigan State traveling across country, especially going to that hostile environment in the Pacific Northwest. And Kalen DeBoer has Washington clicking on pretty much all cylinders on offense. So Mel Tucker is going to have to prove he could contain and stop this offense for 4 quarters and do it on the road. I actually like Washington to win this game at home. Michigan State's QB is more of a game manager, so we'll see if he can make the plays he needs to make to beat. Because Kalen DeBoer coaches a quality. He's a quality coach. He coaches a quality team. They're not gonna make mistakes. They're not gonna beat themselves. So we
Facts.
have to see. We have to see if Michigan State's offense is good enough to hang with them and pull the game out late in the fourth quarter if they do. But if they don't, if they can't put up enough points to stick with Washington, Washington could easily win this game by 10 points or more because they that offense looks good.
Yeah, in Michigan State, I mean, to be completely honest, like Akron is probably the worst team in the MAC, and
Yeah.
Western Michigan was missing a ton of players. And to be honest, they didn't really look like, yeah, they covered the spread. It was 21.5, but they only won 35-13. And Western Michigan, they turned the ball over like 4 times on fourth down situations because they just kept going for it. And 2 of the times was in their fucking own territory. So that's not going to happen here, right?
Yeah, at all.
Um, I'm with you. I'm with you, man. I like Washington here. DeBoer is one of my favorite coaches. I was stoked that Washington deserves a lot better than what they had last year. So I'm excited for this program. And Washington is a good home team, and
Yeah, they are.
I've been to that stadium, dude, and that stadium is loud as fuck, dude.
Yeah, because it's on top of the field.
Yeah,
So
it's like built up and like
yeah.
the sound just comes down. And I think
Mhm.
it's gonna be rocking. And Michigan State, like let's be honest, Mel Tucker's played there before, he's coached there before.
Yeah.
They've played in big situations, but this is an interconference game. I like Washington here. Big game for DeBoer. National television. I'm pretty sure it's their only nationally televised game this season.
I
So
think Oregon is gonna be on national television too.
is it?
Yeah, I think they're gonna get Fox. I think it's gonna be a 12 should be a 12:30, 4 o'clock kickoff. I think
Okay,
that's
so
gonna be on Fox.
one of their 2 nationally televised games. And this one's at 4:30 p.m. So it's like
Yeah. And
7:30 at night.
Penix looks like the quarterback he did before he got hurt. So
Yeah, he
good
looked
luck.
nice.
Yeah,
But
good
to
luck.
be honest,
Man.
Washington hasn't really played anyone either. So
Yeah, but as far as his timing and making throws and being accurate,
yep, no,
can't teach that. So he looks good.
I agree with that. So I think we're both in agreement. I actually like the over in this game. I think it's gonna be a high scoring game. I don't
I
think
think so too.
Michigan State, they've allowed a little bit over. They've almost allowed 5 yards per play, and they haven't played anyone really. So I think this could get a little nasty, which is also why I like Washington. But again, like Washington, they haven't really been tested either. They haven't really played anybody, so we're
Yeah,
gonna
so this game proves which team is actually gonna be a decent team.
yeah. So both teams are averaging about 6.8 yards per play. Both teams allowing less than 5 yards per play. So
But they haven't played anyone. So we about to see who's the real deal out of these two teams.
facts. Opponent red zone scoring percentage the exact same. I mean, they're like basically the same on everything. So we're gonna learn a lot. So if I'm laying -3.5, I think at Washington, I think that's like about a 4-point game. So you're basically giving me the home team. I'll take it all day.
Yeah, I'll take it too.
I think that's smart. All right, let's move into the last game we're going to talk about, which is going to be Fresno State and at USC. You know, right now, before we get into handicaps, the game is, let me see what the line is. I think it's 12.5 still. Hold on 1 second. Let's see here. Come on. I'm pretty sure it's 12.5, but we're going to get an exact number. But what's your thoughts on this game, Irv?
This game is definitely gonna be. It's gonna be a good amount of points scored. What's the over under?
Last I checked, it was like 73, dude.
Damn,
it's a high over under.
Yeah, so that's basically they expecting USC to get up into the high 40s, 50s.
Yeah.
And I think Fresno State could probably score between 14 and 21 points because they have a legit quarterback. The only thing they're not going to be able to stick with USC is the defense. The defense might get some stops, but it could be like the Stanford game where USC scores touchdowns on their first 5-6 possessions. So, Fresno State is a solid team. They're clearly not the team they was last year. They added some transfers. Honestly, they should have beat Oregon State, but Oregon State, you got to give them credit. They went down there last drive of the game and got the W. So I can see this one definitely getting ugly. USC is definitely going to cover. That's going to probably be one of my best bets of the weekend. USC to cover that game.
So it's minus 12.5 right now. Over under 74. I was close, dude.
Yeah, I think if I had to bet, I think USC scores 40 or 50. So I think I like the over, and I also like USC to cover.
So this is funny game to me in my opinion because last week we saw a lot of money come in on Stanford, and for good reasons. You know, Stanford at home, they usually cover against USC, right?
USC only beat them once in the last 10 years at home.
But I was telling people, dude, like this is a new era, bro. Like don't take into consideration that. And I said you guys it's risky business, you know, only taking 13 points. Like you're not even getting 2 touchdowns versus a team that basically can score at will, and they proved it, right? Now they did kind of struggle the second half, but I don't know if they struggled as much as they kind of took their foot off the gas a little bit. That's to be determined because, you know, Lincoln Riley even talked about after the game how they have to play a complete, 48 minutes, right? Or 60 minutes of football. So I do think that's going to be important. This is their real first home game. I know they played at home against Rice, but it was like 102 degrees outside. Yeah. This game is going to be at 7:30 at night, Los Angeles. The Coliseum. It's going to be rocking. Big game against Fresno State. I know it's crazy to say, but, dude, I like USC. If I only got to lay 2 touchdowns or less, I'm going to take USC in this instance. Because Fresno State, like, they let Oregon State do whatever they wanted, right? Yeah. USC is a much more talented team than Oregon State.
Way more talented.
So, and they're going to be in LA. Now, yes, they're probably going to get up for this. You know, Jeff Tedford, he's coached against USC before. He's going to get his team prepared. And they could have lost that Oregon State game a little bit because they were probably looking ahead to USC, maybe, right? I like USC in this spot, dude. I think this is a game that USC 2-0 against the spread already, and they've covered big numbers. I don't think Fresno State is only 3.5 to 5 points better than Stanford at home, right?
Nah.
Give me the Trojans here.
I would have thought this spread would have been at least 21.
The only way USC doesn't cover this is if they beat themselves.
Yeah. Turnovers, which they haven't been doing.
Knock on wood. Knock on wood.
Let's go, y'all.
All right, let's get some best bets, Irv, from these
My
games.
best bet of the weekend.
Give me 2 of them. Give me 2.
BYU +3 and USC to cover 12.5 or 13, wherever book you're betting at.
All right, my 2 best bets from these games. I'm gonna go. Give me Louisville. Actually, give me Nebraska +11. We're gonna take Nebraska +11. And then give me Mississippi State -2.
Okay,
Give me Mississippi State.
I like that.
Let's get this money, baby. Thank y'all for joining us. I'm sorry we had some audio issues to begin with. We'll definitely have all these clips out. I'll put them all out so y'all can hear the handicaps of all the games.
Tune into the pod. You'll get the first 20 minutes that you missed.
Yep. And I promise that shit will never happen again. I don't know why I did not catch that. I never let that shit slide, but we made it. We made it through. Make sure to go to devour.com or download the Devour app. Use promo code Taproom for $10 off your first purchase of $25 or more. Ervin and I will also be releasing our 5 top picks of the weekend on Friday, and then on Saturday we'll be releasing our NFL top 5 picks. So make sure to follow us on Instagram or Twitter. You can get him at Swervin Ervin TSP, myself at Jordan Rules TSP. Catch us on Instagram at Taproom Sports Podcast. Go to taproomsportspodcast.com. Like, subscribe, follow us.
And I'm trying to go 5-0 on both.
Hey, I always try to go 5-0. I'm never trying to lose anything. So let's get this money. Y'all have a blessed weekend. We'll be back on Sunday night. Enjoy.
Let's get it.